What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here. Today I'm going to teach you how to use Urshifu Single Strike in just 10 minutes. So if you guys are excited, make sure to stick around, leave a like, and let me know which Pokemon you want to see covered next in the comments. Let's do it. As always, we'll be talking about Urshifu's stats, move pools, abilities, potential items, potential teammates, some really bad teammates, some team examples, and of course its place in the meta, not just for Smogon, but also for Draft League. Looking at its stats, we're looking at 130 attack and 97 speed as its offensive stats, which is insane, especially when you have moves like Urshifu does. And then on its bulk, you have 100 in HP and defense, and then 60 in its special defense. So really, its weaknesses are going to be its special defense being so poor, and its speed being kind of average. Now for Nat Dex, it's below average, but for actually Galar Dex, you're looking at something that's really, really good at 97 base speed. You outspeed a really good portion of the metagame. And Pokemon that you don't outspeed, you're OHKOing in one hit with either close combat or wicked blow. Urshifu is so good that it was actually banned in Smogon's OUs for Nat Dex and for Galar Dex because it's really hard to be able to take hits and build a team that can take on Urshifu consistently while also being able to take on the rest of the meta. It just doesn't happen at all. As for its typing, Urshifu has really solid typing. It's dark and fighting, which you might think is okay. It doesn't have many resistances. It's only resisting rock, ghost, and dark, and it's only weak to 3 types as well in fighting, flying, and fairy, and has the rest of the types being resist outside of psychic, which is immunity. But what's really important about its typing is its offensive capability. Nothing really takes hits consistently well from fighting and dark types outside of one type only, and that's fairies. And this Pokemon just happens to have some very spammable moves to hit against fairy types. Whether it's Iron Head or Poison Jab or U-turn to 4 switches, even Wicked Blow is going to do a ton of damage to certain fairy type Pokemon because not every fairy is very bulky on the physical side. In general, this Pokemon has so many options for it, and its typing, adding that stab bonus to its dark and fighting attacks, makes this thing just hit so damn hard. When it comes to its typing, it actually has only 44 Pokemon that resist the combination of dark and fighting, which is insane. On top of that, only 37 are available in Galar Dex, 21 of which are fully evolved or not banned to Ubers, so very few Pokemon are going to be consistently taking hits from this Pokemon. Let's look at its move pool now. A couple of big important things I want to point out. Number one is going to be Wicked Blow. Wicked Blow is a move that always crits all the time, no matter what, unless your opponent is something like Battle Armor or Shell Armor or something, which is really the main factor when looking at Urshifu. 80 base power always crits, meaning it doesn't care about your stat boost. It doesn't care about them at all. And Pokemon that would normally check this thing just can't anymore. Then you have moves like U-turn. I said it before, but if you want to be able to bring in a Pokemon that's going to check Urshifu and it just U-turns out, you took rocks, you took spikes, you take U-turn chip, you're going to be able to take chip from something else that's going to try and come in. Eventually, Urshifu will wear them down. It makes it really, really good. Then there's Iron Head and Poison Jab, which are there to kill those fairy types, which is super important. One correct prediction will mean game over for your fairy type. It'll be 2 KO'd by the Iron Head or the Poison Jab, or then KO'd into the Wicked Blow. One or the other, it's going to drop, which is really scary for a team to deal with. Then there's fighting moves. Drain Punch, Close Combat can be perfect for any situation. You have other coverage moves. Really the only type you don't get is like Ground. You get access to Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch. You get access to psychic moves like Zen Headbutt. You get rock moves, of Rock Slide and Stone, and you get flying moves like Acrobatics. So again, Sucker Punch is also something there, but you're really only missing like Earthquake, and that's it. And then for status, really Urshifu's not going to run much in terms of status moves. It's going to be limited to like Bulk Up, Sub, Taunt, and nothing else is really needed because you just want to click buttons when you have an Urshifu. As for its ability, we're looking at something like Unseen Fist. And Unseen Fist, while it's kind of okay, it's better in doubles than it is in singles because Protect is really only useful or more useful rather, in doubles. If you can catch your opponent off guard, they try and just wish Protect up on you with like a Vaporeon or a Sylveon. Then you can just catch them off guard, break right through that Protect, and just get the KO outright, which would be actually insane for Urshifu. FYI, in case you missed it, I did post a video like this on Dragapult, so if you guys missed that, make sure you go and check it out. It's in the cards at the top right of the screen. Moving on to its items and some certain sets, I really like a Choice Band or Choice Scarf Urshifu. The Choice Locked Urshifus are so good because it really has so many spammable moves. Close Combat, Drain Punch, U-turn, and then Wicked Blow, of course. Not much is going to take 2 banded attacks from Urshifu, and not much is going to be able to take them if they're already faster. So you slap a Scarf on that thing, they're going to be in such an amazing position. Other than that though, Assault Vest is really nice because you have a lot of really good options on the physical side. And at the same time, the status moves that Urshifu has aren't always going to be useful. Sub isn't always going to be ran, Bulk Up either, even Taunt. So having access to an Assault Vest to boost your already poor special defense could be an absolute benefit for Urshifu. Then there's Leftovers. This is mostly helpful in something like this sub set with like Bulk Up or Taunt, and can really add longevity to Urshifu, but most of the time you're going to be running the Choice Band, Choice Scarf, and maybe some berries, but we'll see. Moving on though, certain partners that we have. Well, partners that are really important for Smogon, common partners, especially in the Ubers tier, you're looking at something like Ho-Oh, Zacian Crown, the actual good one, Dustmane Necrozma, all of which are able to take fairy hits from the opposing Pokemon like Xerneas pretty freely and also pressure them offensively as well. Some strong pivoting options to get into Urshifu are also really important, things something like Landorus and Blissey to be able to get the slow teleport off. For Draft League, let's look at the draftleague.nl website. Shout out to Automatic for putting that all together. And according to the data, Slowbro is the most used partner, which is actually, really makes a lot of sense with teleport pivoting, which is very nice. There's poison types like Gengar and Nidoqueen to be able to break through the fairy types that are going to be taking hits from the Slowbro. And then on top of that, you have Rotom Heat and Moltres, which can defensively take on fairy type attacks, recover up with Pain Split or Roost, and get momentum at the same time. These are some really good options in the top 5. But in my opinion, all these 5, like I said, are good. But my favorite of these is Woomy Gengar, followed slowly by Slowbro, but I'll give some love to Pokemon like Galar Weezing. Galar Weezing is one of the absolute best checks to Urshifu. But on top of that, did you guys know that the only Pokemon that can, effectively take hits from the Urshifu are hit super effectively by Galar Weezing stats except for one, and that's Toxicroak? Everything else takes super effective damage from Weezing stats, which is insane. It gets Willow support, it acts to Misty Terrain so you can't be burnt. Tons of really good options for Urshifu when you pair it with Galar Weezing. And this Clefable, another awesome check to Urshifu, will no longer be available if you take Clefable rather, on your team to pair with Urshifu. You get access to Teleport like Slowbro does, and you get access to Heal Bell or Aromatherapy to be able to get rid of potential burns as well. Dugtrio is able to trap potential Pokemon and weaken them so that Urshifu can handle them much easier. Same thing goes for Shadow Tag Gothitelle, which is mostly banned, but if it's available for you, Shadow Tag Gothitelle works wonders with Urshifu. And then finally, web setters are really important. Even something really cheap like Chargebug or Dollar had their uses, because having, Urshifu's pretty mediocre to above average base speed, and then adding webs on top of that, meaning you can go with a band instead of a scarf in certain weeks, that's going to make it a lot easier for you to get the 2 Akos and Okos that you really want to get. Now on to Pokemon that, don't really fit with Urshifu. I'm looking at something like a Skarmory or Corviknight, which may seem counterintuitive because, they resist Fairy, they resist Flying, and they are neutral to fighting, but they just don't pressure Pokemon as well as you want them to. And yes, one gets Spikes and Rocks and one gets access to U-Turn, but I think there are better options. I also don't think that Tapu Lele is a good choice. Yes, it can break through a lot of Pokemon really well, but losing out on the terrain is pretty important because Urshifu wants to have access to Sucker Punch, just in case. It likes to bluff certain things against potential Pokemon to be faster, and not having access to that priority move because of the terrain really hurts Urshifu quite a bit. And then finally, some passive Pokemon that rely solely on like Nightshade, or Seismic Toss, or Toxic, or Scald Burns to be able to do damage. Those Pokemon really don't fit well with Urshifu at all. With Urshifu, you need to keep up the pressure constantly, and if you can't do that, you're basically going to lose. On the screen, I'm showing an example of a team with Urshifu Single Strike that is the star of the show for the Ubers metagame. This, I believe, is going to be in the Galar Dex metagame. It's Banded Urshifu, it's a Power Herb Xerneas, it's a Scarf Zacian, a Rocky Helmet Groudon, a Black Sludge Eternatus that's defensive, and then a Necrozma Dustmane rather, that is very, very bulky as well. It's meant to really benefit Urshifu and show its strength, so if you guys want to try that out, the Pokepaste is down in the description. Moving on though into some, teams for Draft League. Well, looking at it, I think a Pokemon team that has, a couple Pokemon that we talked about before, like the team from the Dallas Starmies and Shea from the APA, with Urshifu, Corviknight, Gengar is there. There's a Pokemon like Dugtrio that I mentioned before, and there's also Webs with Chargebug. That's a really good way to support Urshifu and allow it to just really break effectively. So I'm excited to see what Shea can do with this because Urshifu is terrifying, and that is definitely one of the ways to go ahead and build it. Then we got my team from BBR Season 3. I went to the finals with this league, and it was very close. I ended up losing there, but at the end of the day, Urshifu Single Strike was insane. I paired it with Pokemon like the Moltres, which I covered before, like Swampert, which is an amazing pivot. I paired it with a Web Setter in Chargebug, and then of course I paired with Haunter, which is similar to Gengar. But really my focus with this team was to be able to break and pivot as much as possible, and that's what this team did very effectively. Well, that's it. In less than 10 minutes, you now know how to use Urshifu Single Strike. If you guys want to learn more about other Pokemon, make sure to leave a comment down below to tell me which Pokemon you want to see next. And guys, just so you know, commenting is the best way to help the channel grow, so a comment goes a long way. If you guys want to vote for the next Pokemon, make sure to follow me on Twitter, and of course, leave me suggestions down in the comments, like I said. Also, you made it to the end, and you probably enjoyed it, so because of that, you should subscribe. It would be good for you and be good for me, so why not do it? But guys, thanks for watching so much. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.